everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. Today I want to do another pick-a-card reading for you, and I was really inspired to look into what they want. So what's interesting about this question is that it can go in a number of different ways depending on what you want to tune into. It can be someone you desire, so it can be about love. It can be a competitor who is trying to get to you for some reason and you're not sure why they're doing that. So the reading can go in any number of ways depending on what you want to tune into. So I want you to think about a certain person or a certain situation that involves another person, and I want you to ask yourself, what do they want? What do they want from me? Is there a reason they're behaving in this way? Possibly can be added to this question. So for this pick-a-card, I have 4 different readings because I have 2 stones and 2 charms. So that's 4 different readings. I have the Carnelian stone, I have the feather charm, and the Brandberg stone, as well as the coin charm. So I'm going to be doing different layouts for the different readings. As always, you will find the timestamps in the description box. By all means, pause the video if you want to tune into the stones and charms and think a little bit about what is the situation that you want to consider for this pick-a-card. And I will see you in your reading. Okay, Carnelian, here we are with your stone and the deck. And for your layout, I want to do a 3x5 portrait. I think an extended portrait 3x5 will work well for this question. We have a lot of dynamics that can be drawn out of this layout. So let's go ahead and tune into what they want from you. Okay, Carnelian, here we are with your 3x5 extended portrait. And obviously with the ring at the top here, it is about the relationship. I think they might want a relationship with you. I'm seeing a very positive line in here. The fox can be a bit tricky, but really, apart from this fox card, everything else looks positive, and I think it is very much supportive of the theme that seems to be set very much by the ring here as the first card of your extended portrait. Other interesting standout cards, the key is all around positive. The key and tree at the ends of the central portrait diagonal are about achieving a very important goal. And I am a little bit concerned about this one, but like I said, we will get to it. But like I said, I think overall the cards are really positive, and I think they are supportive for a relationship. So I feel from the get-go, right off the bat, we can say that this person wants a relationship with you. Now, I'm not going to say that it is necessarily about love and romance, but in the very least, they want to get closer with you. So let's go ahead and start with the the summary structures, and then we'll get into each of the lines. So the ring and clover is a very beautiful pair. This is about a very lucky relationship, a true commitment is possible, and I think very good intentions are possible. And this is going to be important in the face of a card like the fox, because the fox, when it comes to relationships, can be very tricky and usually represents someone who is not really into the relationship. So this combination represents sincerity. Now the garden and house is lovely because this clearly suggests wanting to meet, wanting to get together, wanting to spend intimate times together is possible in the context of love. And, it is very possible that it will happen. So I would say if you're up for this Carnelian group, then maybe make room to meet, to get together, to spend time together, very much indicated by the garden and house. At the center, we have the very interesting tower. Now, the tower is a little bit of a shifty card in the sense that it can take on several meanings depending on the context, but in certain readings it's not always clear which one it takes, so that's where the rest of the spread comes into play to suggest the overall balance. The tower can be associated with solitude, and so can the mountain, and so can the tree. So when we have all 3 cards in the extended portrait and in the central portrait of the 3x5, there could be an element of isolation, an element of distance, but it's really hard to settle on that when we have the ring and clover, the garden and house, and many other beautiful lines that we're going to get to. So there could be a sense of shyness, distance, the possibility that we're not really sure how to bridge the gap in the relationship, not really sure how to, get closer to you, could be an issue. Focusing back on the tower, because it is at the center of the whole 3x5, Yes, it can represent the idea of isolation, but it is also the card of longevity, and it is the card of the long term. Sometimes it represents the past, so maybe this is a past relationship, or perhaps what is relevant to you in this context is a past chapter. But it can also suggest long-term commitments and the idea of wanting to, wanting something serious, wanting something real. And this can be really supportive of the relationship and the intentions of this person. So with this overview, let's get into the rows, the columns, and then the diagonals. In the top row, we have the ring, flowers, road, tree, and house. So this is definitely someone who wants to get to know you. They want to spend more time with you. They want this to move forward. They want to go down that road with you. The flowers is a very beautiful card. The tree is all about peacefulness. And with the house, it's really about foundations. Family is possible. And again, remember, we just looked at the tower. We said this can be a card of commitment. And with the house, and actually the bear is, both of these cards can symbolize parents. So it's possible that this is someone who really wants a commitment, possibly a family, something serious, something for the long term, and also something to settle into, like a relationship that is really, this is it. I just want to be with this person. I want to live my life with them. I want to be with them, create a home and a space with them. So on that level, that is really possible. Now, maybe you're not thinking of someone who fits that kind of description. Still, in any context of some kind of commitment, whether it's on the job, a friendship, or a family relationship, this is someone who wants peacefulness, who wants to settle in the relationship. They don't want issues, they want ease and, like moving forward in the relationship without issues and without baggage and things like that, like really easy. Wanting to move forward in the relationship is their intention. This is what they want from you. So that is actually a really beautiful message. Now, the anchor, mountain, tower, bear, and heart, this line has a really interesting energy. Each of these three cards, and actually the tree as well and the house, they are the cards in the deck that are very settled. They're heavy and anchored, and they don't move, not easily. And so again, we're seeing this idea of wanting a relationship that is serious, that is, that has a weight to it, that is settled, that is committed for the long term. The bear and heart can represent big love, big feelings, and the anchor, mountain, and tower, along with the bear and tree and house, they are really settled. It's just really the best way to put it. Someone who wants commitment for the long term. Now, again, the tower and mountain and tree, they can be associated with a bit of distance. And so adding the anchor to that, and possibly the bear, I feel maybe this is someone who is not very flexible. They could be a bit rigid in their thinking, in their feelings. Maybe they're seeing things in just one way or in a single perspective, but I don't think this affects their positive intentions at all. Maybe this is something you want to keep in mind to understand them better. That's how they're seeing the relationship. Not necessarily very broad-minded is a possibility. Now, another way to look at this line is in terms of a location. We have a few location cards. We have the mountain, we have the garden, the house, and the anchor has to do with staying in a place. So the area of where you live or where this relationship happens can somehow affect the dynamic, but I don't think it affects it in a negative way. I think it is also a reference to the idea of settling down with someone, deciding on a place to live, possibly living together, and possibly building a family if that's what you're thinking of. Now, in the context of other relationships, like for example at work, we are looking at, again, long-term commitments, and in this sense here, that can be a really positive indication because the tower and bear is very much about management. And so this is a career or a job where that person wants you to grow into. So that can be really positive for your work. Now, in the bottom row, we also have some beautiful cards. we have the garden key, letter fox, and clover. When it comes to work, this is a great combination. This set of cards here can suggest an offer of work and one that really, really matches what you want. Not only because of the clover, but we also have the garden and key. So this can be the right place to work in for you. It can be about business if that's what you do. This can represent customers. And so this is very much a success combination when it comes to work. Now, in the context of our question, this is someone who wants you on the job, if we're still looking at the job. You know, they think you have great potential. They think you'll do really well on the market. You're great at what you do. You'll get success and appreciation by those around you. So this can be an intention to hire you or to involve you in some project. That's at the level of work. And I started off with this interpretation because the cards are very much about that in terms of the theme. But wrapping into the bigger theme of, well, what seems to be the bigger theme of this 3x5, which is mainly a relationship, and, you know, with the flowers, heart, and house, it seems to be a more, a more intimate kind of relationship, then this line is also very positive. The thing about the fox here is that they could be hesitating or maybe fearing something. And I'm thinking in terms of the other distance cards that we saw, anchor, mountain, tower, tree, that could be a bit of an issue for them. Maybe they're holding back on some level. But I think they're ready to move past this. I think this can be thawed, and, you know, there can be some warmth in the relationship. So from this line, I think they want to invite you out. They want to get together with you. They want to ask you out. And like we suggested with the garden and house as the corner cards, this is a relevant, like a key thing that happens for you in the relationship. It can be like a milestone that opens it up more deeply. So some very good news and very positive exchanges happening here in the bottom row, regardless of context. So let's move on to the columns. We have the ring, anchor, and garden. This is great for staying put, committing, sticking with what you're doing. And again, the idea of foundations is very important. In relationships, this is a wonderful combination for trust, support. This is a relationship that you can rely on. There's no need to doubt about it in any way. So very, very supportive. Again, tying this into the question, this is someone who wants you, who wants to commit to you, who wants something serious. The flowers, mountain, and key is great in any way we read the cards, any context. The mountain can be obstacles, but the flowers and key is very much about overcoming them. So again, if there was a sense of coldness, distance, or maybe not really sure how to bridge any gap in the relationship, I think this can now be overcome. Again, the mountain can bring up the idea of location. And so if there was a physical separation, a get-together, a coming back together is possible. The flowers in particular is about a reunion, the idea of coming back, because it's associated with renewal by extension of the idea of spring. The road, tower, and letter. This is interesting. I think here the idea of the past that can be associated with the tower can come into the picture a bit more obviously. And so with the road, it's possible that there was a past situation or something was left at some point in the past, and because of the letter, it can now come back into play. So again, the idea of bridging gaps, closing gaps is something that they want to do. They want to be in touch with you. They want to be with you. They want to get closer to you. And they could be struggling a little bit with how to do that, but really the cards in general are so positive that there's going to be a way around that, whether it's just their effort or your welcome, and just breaking the distance in whatever way works best for you is very likely to happen, and I would say will happen. The tree, bear, and fox. This is a powerful combination for growth. Again, these cards, like we said, very strong, very strongly anchored, very rooted. Again, the idea of importance and seriousness comes into play through the tree and bear. The fox is a bit tricky, and this is where we have the idea that maybe they're not sure how to, close some gap. They could be thinking about the long term, and I think this is a very serious situation or issue for them, the idea of a long-term commitment. And so they could be assessing the relationship, which I would say is fair in the same way that you would assess it for yourself. I think that's fair. But I want you to keep in mind that they are looking for something serious, and they're going to assess the relationship from this perspective. Finally, we have the house, heart, and clover. This is beautiful in any context: home, family, relationships, work, success, well-being, all of it. The heart and clover is really feeling at ease, feeling like you're in a comfort zone, you're doing what you want to do, you're in alignment with your purpose, your work, your environment. It's all looking really good, and especially with home and family because of the house, or the folks who are closer to home. So a very, very positive combination here. So in terms of the question, or how it answers our question, again, this is someone who wants to share quite a lot with you. They're probably wanting to live with you, move in with you, be with you, spend intimate times with you. This is very much coming through this combination. And again, in the context of work or other contexts, the idea of commitment and wanting to collaborate is very clearly coming through the cards. So overall, Carnelian group, we have an abundance of positive messages in this 3x5. So like in a very general way, this person wants good, this person has good intentions. So they want good things with you. Specifically, next level down, they want to get closer to you and possibly even commit to the relationship with you. This seems to be a really big deal for them, the idea of the longevity of the relationship, the seriousness of the relationship. So I just want to put it out there, Carnelian folks, if you are one of those Carnelians who are not ready for a commitment, I want you to appreciate that this could cause a bit of a difference, because this person is coming from a place of wanting something long-term. And if that's not something you're ready for right now, then maybe honesty is the best policy. See how you work through this, or maybe you give it more time. In the context of work, be ready to commit. This is someone who wants you for a longer term commitment. They want to see you grow. And again, if this is not for you, you might want to be honest from the get-go, because you don't want to disappoint them or pull the plug later on and cause a fallout when maybe it isn't necessary. But in general, if you reciprocate these very beautiful feelings, then we are looking at commitment. This is someone who wants to settle down. Okay, this is someone who is even possibly considering family and like a long-term kind of establishment in the relationship. We can add a few more insights through the diagonals. Let's have a look at them. The usual V ones, we have the ring, mountain, letter into the bear and house. This is very much a pair of home and family. And the mountain can suggest maybe a different place where you look to live in a different place. That could come into play. But if it's not about a location, it is about bridging the gap and getting in touch after maybe some time of distance or separation, or just not sure how to warm it up. And then the other one is garden, mountain, road, bear, and clover. Again, the possibility of location coming into play is even clearer here, with the garden, mountain, and road, possibly a move or a change. But with the bear and clover, this can be really, really positive. If it's not about a physical change, this is about your direction. In this sense, this is an important path. This is a potentially really important relationship. In the very least, that's what they want. That's how they're seeing it. So I want you to keep this in mind. I think this can be really good for you. I mean, the cards are so positive, right? But I have to say that it's up to you if you are ready for such a commitment. More diagonals, the anchor, flowers, tower, fox, heart. So the fox and heart and the fox and flowers can be a little bit questionable. By itself, it would normally represent the idea of someone who's a bit half-hearted, and maybe someone who is not entirely honest, the types who, compliment without really meaning it, just to be nice, type of thing. But in this context, I feel that this is more about the person really being picky. They want to get a sense of where you stand, because they're in it for the long term. And so again, Carnelians, I think it would be wise on your part, if you do not want such a commitment, that you find a way to express that in a way that works for the dynamic. You'll be best to judge that, but I want you to know their intentions because that's what the Pick-A-Card reading is about. And then we have the Anchor, Key, Tower, Tree, and Heart, and this is a beautiful set of cards. This has to do with a very powerful kind of achievement, very important sense of achievement. And with the Heart, it is very much about feeling good and being in the right direction for the long term. So this can be it, I have to say. This can be the relationship that you commit to for the long term. It might be also worth throwing in here that the Key and Tower can be spiritual cards. They can be guidance cards. It's not the Cross, but they're still really good with that sense of, there's a bigger thing going on in life. So you could be guided into this. Again, it's really just the Fox that is a little bit tricky, but it is pretty well overcome by the positivity of the other cards. Again, they're assessing this. They want something for the long term. I don't think they're playing around. And so I want you to appreciate that. I want you to think about where you stand relative to this relationship, knowing that they want a commitment and they're not joking around. So this is a very beautiful spread for relationships, very positive intentions. They want you, they want this connection with you, they want it for the long term, they really want to get closer. Now, how you decide to take this forward, Carnelian, I leave it up to you. Let me know what you decide to make of it. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts and comments. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to our next video together. Okay, Feather Group, here we are with the deck and your charm, and let's get into what is this person wanting from you. For your layout, I would like to do an extended diamond reading, and maybe you haven't seen me do these very often, but I do actually have a video about this, and I also have a free resource if you want to try your hand at an extended diamond. So this is a pretty spread. So let's go ahead and deal out your diamond and see what do they want from you. Okay, Feather Group, here we are with your extended diamond or the large diamond. And there's an interesting combination of messages figuring here for you. It should be obvious that the first pair of cards that stands out is the woman and the man. And between them, there's the Anchor, which is really good for a relationship, if not a commitment, right? When we get the man and the woman, this usually represents love. It's also interesting to see that we also have the Moon and the Sun in the cards. That's another pair that represents love. It is that because they symbolize the archetypal masculine and the archetypal feminine. But what is interesting to me is first, not the challenging cards, but the dog. The dog in relationships is typically about friendships and not so much love. And so when I take this into consideration with the challenging cards that we see in the central row, then I feel this person might be interested in a friendship and an honest friendship because of this positive diagonal and the anchor in the center of it all. But not so much a love relationship. Now, I'm assuming that this is about love and romance, but it doesn't have to be. This can be about work. The lily, for example, can suggest the area of work. But even if it weren't there, we can interpret the relationship for any context. So let's get into the lines. There are many things that go on in a large diamond. Let's start with the idea of the anchor. The anchor is really good in relationships, and that is a reassuring card to find in the center of this diamond, even if there are challenging cards. The anchor is about reliance, reliability, security, and a sense of trust. So as it stands, I think there's a really good foundation for the relationship. Looking at the corner cards, we have a very powerful combination here. We have the coffin and the scythe. This is a definite ending. So there seems to be a phase that is ending in the relationship. Something absolutely needs to end, and this is definitely something they're clear about. And in the other corner cards, we have something that is unrelated. We have the lily and the ship, which actually can represent a new phase, a new journey, a new goal. It can be a move, and that would work pretty well with the idea of the coffin and scythe, the idea of a radical ending, a radical change. So if it comes to the idea of relocating and moving, this can come through clearly. If not, it is clearly about the end of a phase. Very much coming through the coffin and scythe, that is really clear. And then with the lily and ship, this would be normally associated with projects, adventures, ventures, and things like that. But in the context of the relationship, this can be about seeking new goals, seeking new avenues. So I think that there can be a separation or there can be a change of mind. So one scenario where this plays out is maybe there was an initial intention or exploring of a love relationship, but I don't think it's going to head into a love relationship. It's going to turn into something different, mainly a friendship. So that's a scenario where these dynamics play out pretty clearly. So with this context laid out, let's get into the lines and the columns. So the first one is the row, this 5-card row. The coffin and stork, and then the anchor, whip, and scythe. This is very much about a change. And I know that the anchor is in the middle and it's about staying put, but in these combinations, they're going to contrast the anchor, and this is going to turn out to be the idea of uprooting, the idea of no longer being able to stick with the current situation and really having to make a change, unplugging, removing, lifting up that anchor and moving away. The stork and coffin, especially in this order, is very much about something that had been on hold can now come back into play. So it's possible that this person had been holding off from making this decision or making this change, and they are now wanting to make it. The whip and scythe can be pretty challenging. This is normally associated with something like danger or, accidents, and usually physical kind of accidents. But in this context, this is about making a break and moving on. So I think that this person might have been holding off from expressing something. Maybe they'd been worrying about how you'd feel about it. But I don't think they want to pursue the relationship as it is. Instead, they want to make a change in it. And the most likely scenario, at least the scenario that I can think of that makes sense in light of these dynamics, is the idea that this isn't so much about a love or a close relationship, it's more about a friendship. So this can come through here. We're looking at a radical change, and something that had been held back is now released. The central column, we have the lily, dog, anchor, sun, and ship. So this is where we see the contrast, right? These are really bright cards. We have the anchor and sun, sun and ship, dog and anchor. These are all really positive for support, a relationship, a sense of trust. All of these figure nicely. The lily in this context can represent the idea of the long term. It can also be professional. So, I'm getting a sense of this formality element coming into play. Again, I really feel this person is not really wanting a close connection. They want to keep it sort of formal and, like a friendship, maybe good colleagues, things like that. But in this context, it's really positive. So I want you to appreciate that they mean well. They just don't feel that it's fitting for a love relationship or an intimate relationship. And also, if this is not about love and romance, I do think it sort of is because of the woman and man and the sun and moon. But still, for those of you where, you don't really fall into this scenario so in such a clear-cut way, this can be about work and career. And in this sense, this can be, again, about making a radical break and then doing something different, something that is more aligned with your goals and your objectives. Now, in the context of the question, remember we're asking what they want from you, okay? In the context of work, they could be thinking that where you are right now is not really fitting and there needs to be a change, and they see something different for you. And they think that if they put you in that different circumstance or situation, you will thrive a lot more, you will go a lot farther on the job. So I don't know if you feel this way, if you share their thoughts, but that is a possible scenario. Now, moving on to the two diagonals that we see in the central portrait of the large diamond, the relationship element comes through very clearly through the woman and the man. And these are the cards that we talked about from the get-go. So the relationship stands. I think it is secure. I think there is also transparency and honesty that can come through, especially with something like the anchor in the middle and the challenging cards and this pair here. So I think that after this maybe revelation or confession, I still think the relationship stands and there's still a strong connection between the two of you. The moon, anchor, and bird is also positive for a conversation. It is, again, this idea of honesty and integrity is coming through. Maybe it's been held back for a while, but I think you're reaching a point where they don't want to hold back anymore. They want to express it. And the bird can be a bit unsettling, especially in this combination and next to this one here. We have the man, whip, and bird, and then the bird and scythe. We've got the whip and scythe, the man and scythe. So this combination here can be unsettling. So again, we're seeing that there is this maybe a bit of something that blows over. This, like we said, this revelation that was held back comes through, and this can be a bit of a turbulent episode. But the thing about these combinations here in the diagonals is that despite that, there's still going to be a relationship, and there's still going to be a solid foundation. So far, what I'm seeing for you, Feather Group, is that this is a person who is thinking that they want to tell you something. What they want is they want to tell you how they feel, and it's not going to be what you want, and they know that, and so this can cause a bit of a difference that comes through, but they still want the connection. Okay, they still want the relationship and want to keep it on a solid foundation, on a strong footing. So we've read this line. Let's read this one. The moon, stork, and woman, by contrast, is positive. And the way I want to look at this is because, we have the man and woman in these two lines. They're at the corners. There's an interesting structure going on here. So I feel that the cards are telling us to read these lines as where she stands, where he stands. And again, the gender thing is not necessarily relevant. It's like where the two parties stand. So there's one person who wants to, say how they feel and possibly cause a bit of an issue here. And then the other person, the suggestion is to be open to hear that. The moon and stork is positive movement. And in the context of what's going on here, especially with the moon and the softness of the moon, I feel the idea is really to just be open to what could come through here. And again, this person wants to say something, but it doesn't mean that they want the relationship to fall out. They want to bring something up, and they want to feel like they can. So I would suggest, Feather Group, that you try to create a space where you are willing to hear how they feel, what's going on, and not be, too angry at that. Being open to changes, being open to how the relationship moves forward. And like we saw in the central column, it is very positive for a friendship. If you were wanting something deeper, closer, I feel that you could be in for a bit of a disappointment. That's the challenge. And I mean, these are really challenging cards. And actually, these two are the most challenging cards. So it's a good thing how they figure in the diamond and what they tell us. How they come into play for you to bring that sense of honesty, the idea that something needs to come through. And I want you to be open to that. So this is what they are wanting to do. They're wanting to bring something out into the surface. It's possible they've been holding back for a while and they don't want to hold back anymore. They want to tell you about it. They want to express it. They know that this can cause a bit of a rift, and indeed it could change the relationship moving forward. Now, two more lines we can read before we look at the outer sides of the diamond are the top row and the bottom row here. We have the moon, dog, and man, and we have the woman, sun, and bird. So this, again, is a very positive set of cards that are very supportive for the friendship. And it's interesting because we have the sun here, which is the masculine element. We have the moon here, which is the, the feminine element. And then we have the man and the woman. It's really an interesting structure. So I feel that, apart from the structure and these, if you want to call them higher level or lower level, symbolisms that are coming through here, the dog and moon is a very supportive combination, and the sun and bird is a very supportive combination. So I feel this can be a very constructive conversation. The bird is about, anything verbal expression. With the sun, it can be positive. And the dog and moon is also a very kind combination for the friendship. So despite the challenges, and they can be heavy duty, I still feel that the relationship stands and you can achieve a sense of understanding. I want you to know that this is very much their intention. This is what they want. They want to bring this up. They want to be able to be honest, but they don't want to compromise the relationship. So I ask you, Feather Group, are you open to that? Are you open to creating that space of honesty, or at least contributing to it? Are you open to seeing the relationship a bit differently moving forward? I want you to appreciate that they have good intentions. They've been bottling up. Okay, that's also maybe part of the reason that, when you hold back and you open up, it might come through a bit more strongly than it actually is, just because of the buildup of the pressure. It's almost physical. But I want you to appreciate their good intentions, okay? Let's wrap up with the sides of the diamond. We have the Lily Man Scythe. So this is a change. I think this can be a change that they're making in relation to their life. On a bigger scale, I want to tie this into this side. The Coffin Moon Lily, this is very much the end of a phase. And Scythe Bird ship into Coffin Woman ship. Yes, the end of a journey is in view. The announcement of that is what comes into play through these cards. And it might be a bit of a shock. It will probably rock the boat, but it is a phase thing. I think it's time to close this, bring this out into the open, be honest about it, be clear about where this is heading or where this is not heading, and really have an honest conversation. This is what they want. They want to tell you that how they feel about this. I think they're not able to continue in the way that things had been going on. This can be a transition into a different phase, and I wish for you to be open to different possibilities about this relationship and how it can move forward. Again, I feel this is mostly about love and friendships and personal relationships, but hey, it can figure in any other context, right? So on the job, maybe there needs to be a change. Maybe a project ends or something changes, and there are consequences to that. I do think they feel really good about you. They have good thoughts towards you. It's just that there's a circumstance that is rocking the boat and that needs to create some kind of change. Things cannot continue the way they have, okay? So overall, Feather Group, I appreciate that this could be a bit challenging, but it does have a silver lining. This person has good intentions. They've been bottling up about something. They want to tell you about it. This is what they want to do. It's probably going to change how the relationship moves forwards, regardless of the context. So prepare for that. In view of their positive intentions, I would say reciprocate the good intentions and, be understanding. Do your part to create a space for this to come out and see what you make of it when time comes. So very interesting dynamics here, Feather Group. Probably a lot of maturing energies, I feel. Pretty down to earth, if you ask me. Let me know what you make of them. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts and your comments, how you're going to grow through this. I'm looking forward to them. Very best of luck with this transition. Let me know how it goes. And until we meet again, thank you so much for watching and take very good care of yourself. Okay, Brandberg Group, here we are with the deck and your stone, and we are ready to do your cards, and we want to find out what do they want from you. So I want to do an extended portrait for your reading. That is a 3x5. So let's go ahead and deal out your cards. Okay, Brandberg Group, here we are with your 3x5. There is quite a few challenging cards in this portrait. And so I feel this is someone who is in competition with you. I think they envy you. I think they want to lock horns with you. And I think they want to maybe get involved or interfere in your relationships. We are seeing relationship cards. We are seeing a lot of challenging cards. I really think this could be about envy. And, I think they want to try to compromise your position. So I don't think they're well intended towards you, Brandberg group. I think we have plenty of cards that show that. And so the key for us is going to be to clarify these intentions, which honestly, they're pretty clear as far as I'm concerned. But we'll refine that and get into the details. And also we're going to see if it's a specific area that they're envious of or something special about you, and then what you are best to do about it. So let's start with the quarter cards. The clouds and the bear is a challenging combination. The bear is not normally challenging. It tends to be neutral, but when it shows up with a challenging card, it's not too challenging, but it still muddies the waters, the clouds. I feel this could be someone who feels a bit competitive toward you. I think they want to lock horns with you. I think you confuse them. I think they don't figure you out, and it teases them, it annoys them, so I think they feel this way about you. The bird and ring it's an okay combination. It could be about a conversation, negotiations and things like that, but I think in the context of everything else, I want to keep this a bit more open and suggest that this could be maybe a bit of interference in your relationships, wanting to talk to you, wanting to, sort of try to understand you. Like they're nosy. They're nosy about you, they're curious about you, but not in a nice way, okay? So they're chattery. I have to wonder, Brandberg group, if maybe they're trying to interfere in your relationships. I wonder if gossip is possible. So this is not a gossip combination, but the bird and whip, for example, and that's at night, it can be that, okay? So I think they're sort of muddying the waters, they're interfering in relationships, they don't figure you out, they're annoyed by you, they want to compete with you. I guess they want something from you that they don't have. You must be one of those special people. The central card is quite interesting. It's the lily, and the lily tends to be a peaceful card. It tends to be about work and career, but in this context, it's going to take on a number of different meanings depending on the combinations. But I think the lily here is giving us the advice. So the way I'm feeling that is I'm seeing turbulence all around, and then you have the lily. The lily, I feel, best represents you as opposed to the earlier cards. And I am seeing, Brandberg, that you need to be peaceful and no cares, no worries, nothing to be worried about, and to just keep doing your own thing. I don't think you have to do much to protect yourself, to be honest. I'm not seeing boundaries. I'm not seeing the anchor and mountain and, these cards that create some kind of blockage or some kind of fence. The lily is peaceful. It's wise. It's more mature. So I think you don't need to do so much to neutralize them. I think it's really just observing that they envy you, and I'm not sure what they're trying to do here. So let's get into the lines here. So the clouds and whip is a challenging pair, and then we have the tree, garden, ring. Okay, so we're starting to get clues here. This is a person who envies, how do I put it for you? They envy your position within a situation. Maybe you have status, Brandberg. Maybe you are appreciated by others. You have good relationships. You're established in this context. And they want to mess that up. Look at this, the clouds and whip. They want to mess up your position. You see? Now, what position this is, it depends on you specifically, your circumstances. You let me know. It can be on the job. It can be within a community, within a group of people, within society at large, if you're famous. Maybe. And so they really want to mess that up. They want to mess up your sense of establishment, your sense of growth, your sense of, how you're established within this environment. They want to mess up your relationships. this is a really ill-intentioned person, Brandberg Group. I really need to put it out there for you in as bluntly as possible. Now, what I appreciate is the tree, lily, and road. And this is the central column of the 3x5. And the tree is a really peaceful card. It is wise. It is well established. It has deep roots. And it works really well with the energy of the lily and then the road. So what I'm feeling here is that, again, I don't think they're really able to challenge you. I think what you need to do is to just keep on moving forward in the way that you're doing and more or less ignore this not so bright person. I think you have a strong position. I don't think you need to worry about your position being compromised. I think you just need to keep on keeping on. I don't think you need to, like I said, no fences, no defenses, no blockages. There isn't like this strong defensive energy that I'm feeling from the cards. It's really more about being yourself, just staying yourself, staying within your sense of wisdom and maturity, and in the face of this, person who is really envious of you. Now, the second row, the sun, scythe, lily, snake, and fox. And here's another indication of what this person is up to. This is very clearly a combination of envy coming through the snake and fox. And, this sun here is probably your sense of brightness, how you are maybe popular, Brandberg, or, your position within a certain environment. They really want to mess this up. They don't want you to be popular. They don't want you to be established. They want to, honestly, they want to hurt you. They want to make you look bad. They want to talk about you. They want to, this is not okay. Now, again, I'm not saying they affect you. I'm not saying they achieve their goals, but I have to highlight their intentions. They don't have good intentions. This is someone who is obviously envious. They want to compromise your position. They want to mess up your success, and it's maybe in the environment of work or, some other professional context, but it doesn't have to be. It can be in any context. It can be in a social context, even close to home, it happens, right? There are some people very close to home who are unhealthy in these ways. So very clear indication of their intentions. They envy your success and they don't want you to shine your light. They don't want you to be this bright person that you are. In the bottom row, we have another interesting clue. We have the man. So this is a combination that suggests a conversation with a man. The bird and man can be a relationship you have, a relationship they have. It can be someone they talk to. Maybe they talk about you to them, or they're trying to mess up your relationship with this man. So the dynamics are going to depend on you specifically, but there seems to be a man in the picture that affects the dynamic and that affects the energy. And with the road, mouse, and bear, this looks like a significant ending, a significant change in the relationship. Maybe they've fallen out with this person. Maybe this is what is upsetting them. Maybe you have done something or you're somehow connected with this man and they're envious of that. This can be a love triangle. I can't rule that out. It's going to depend, right? And so this could be a significant clue as to why this person feels this way. I have to say, though, that this man could be falling out of the relationship with them or is someone you need to be aware of, So maybe they are working through this person to do something to try to affect you, or maybe their relationship with this man has sort of fallen out and maybe you have something to do with this and it's maybe causing all of this. So a number of scenarios are possible depending on your specifics. Leave me comments, ask me the question, and I'll respond to you. Okay, super. So a fallout here, a fallout. Let's move on to the columns. We have the clouds, sun, and bird. Again, similar to what we read in the second row, I feel this is someone who wants to dampen your enthusiasm. I think they gossip. I honestly think they do. And, I would say don't catch on to their negativity. Again, this ties into this important central column and the important energy of the lily. Don't catch on to their negativity. You don't have to, respond at their level. Okay. And also you just continue having your happy conversations with people, let this person go. The whip, scythe, and man, and this T crosses the man in the bottom row. Major fallout. The whip and scythe is a very challenging combination. This can be a separation. There could have been an argument or something that fell out, and it has to do with this person here. And so maybe they feel it's your fault. Maybe they feel that you've done something to cause this. And in a different kind of scenario, they could be trying to work through this person to get to you, okay? So be aware of the role of this person or a third party, just to keep it broad, a third party in this context and their role in it and how it's affecting how this person feels about you or what they want to do. We read the central column, beautiful combination of peacefulness and, keep on keeping on. Is the message. And garden, snake, mouse. Here's another one. A bit like the top row, the garden brings up a certain context. It can be a group of people, a community, an environment, a group or a place that you're part of. And the snake and mouse. Yeah, this is not great. This is not great. This is people who could be scheming, or this person is scheming. They could be trying to compromise your relationships like we saw in the top row. They could be gossiping. Yeah, not a great person, honestly. They don't have good intentions towards you, Brandberg. I would be very careful. Don't trust them. And also watch others. Maybe this person, maybe others, because maybe this person is really trying to screw up the situation. So it's really important that you maintain your ground. You be peaceful so that you don't give this person any reason to get to you or to openly say something negative about you. Okay? And then here, also not so great, ring, fox, bear. Interesting. So the fox and bear can be a leader. It can be maybe the leader of the group, or maybe, someone that they're connected to. And with the ring, maybe they're trying to work their way around, trying to influence the decision makers to affect you. I really think they could go that far. What's possibly good news is that I'm not so sure the boss or the leader or some other person of influence in this context is really buying into them. I think maybe they're just, pretending to. But at the same time, it is a fox and ring here. So, relationships can go in a number of ways. So I would be careful across the board. And again, I think your best defense is to not buy into this, not be part of the negativity, not be part of the gossip, and to maintain your distance and to keep on doing what you do well. So this is clearly a challenging set of cards, Brandberg, but it's really good to get the heads up, right? So be alerted by this person. They do not have good intentions. They're working hard, I would say, to try to compromise your position. I don't think they succeed, but I think it's also in your hands to maintain your strong sense of self, to maintain wisdom, and not to get involved with the negativity of this person. This is an interesting line. The cloud, scythe, road, snake, ring is very clearly a fallout of a relationship. This is definitely someone you don't want to have anything to do with. Move away, move away. And it's also possible that people find out about their intentions. It's possible that this man here has something to do with it. It's possible that he blows things out of the water and then there's a fallout, and it's clear that this person has been, scheming all of this time. So this can turn to your advantage. But if this isn't what's playing out, then definitely this is a set of diagonals that is telling you to move away from this person, okay? Just don't trouble yourself. The bird, scythe, tree, snake, and bear, I think is pointing to your wisdom because of the tree at the top here. So with the bird and scythe, there could be an announcement. There could be a breakthrough or something is said. And it's possible that it turns to your advantage. I suspect that this man may have something to do with it. And then on the other side of the tree, we have the snake and bear, which is, again, the idea of moving away. Now, here's what. I think the situation is going to play out such that it is revealed that this person has been scheming and is really a negative energy in this environment. But I don't think it's in your hands. I think it's in this man's hands. It's in someone else's hands to blow this person out of the water. So in the meantime, you just do your thing and don't get involved, and maintain your good sense and your good humor, and don't give anyone any reason to suspect that this scheming person could be right about you. Be careful. This is a bit of a tricky situation. They want to hurt you. They want to gossip about you. They want to say all sorts of things, okay? Let's read a few more diagonals. We have the Sun, Whip, Lily, Mouse, and Fox. Again, I feel this can be blown out of the water. The Sun is really the hint here because it's an all-around positive card. But I think it's really important that you try not to be fazed by this person, that you don't get involved. The Mouse and Fox is another very clear advice warning you against this person, not trusting them. They are liars, or this is a lying person. Cannot be trusted, okay? Get them out of your life. Don't be involved with them at all. The Sun, Man, Lily, into the Garden, and Fox. Again, I feel that this man here, or whoever he turns out to be in your context, regardless of gender, can be the person who turns this around. You know, we have the Sun and Man, and you know, the Sun ties back into the Whip and the other set of diagonals. So maybe he comes in to turn this around. Maybe the news comes through him. You know, we've seen this in a number of combinations. So he could come around to maybe put things to right, to let others know what this person is up to let others know about this person's not good intentions. So it's a little bit out of your hands, I feel, but you know, let it go as best you can. Just be aware of what this person is up to. Stay away. Do your thing and just be observant and alert, okay? So overall, Brandberg, this is a bit of a challenging set of cards, but again, it's really good to be aware. Do your thing, have confidence in yourself. Don't go to the level of that person, okay? They're very envious, they're petty, they're trying to mess things up. It's important that you maintain a neutral position within yourself, with others, and to just do your thing, you know, keep on enjoying yourself in this environment, or just in general, you know, and stay away from this person. Stay away from them. It's very possible that it's going to come to light what they're about, so you won't need to make a point about it, and I don't think it's in your hands to anyway. And in fact, if you do, it might backfire, so be careful of that. So overall, it's a sensitive situation, I have to admit, but you're not without advantage. Though you're going to have to maneuver this, and really the best way to maneuver it is to just pull back and not be involved. Just do your thing. Let me know how you like these ideas, Brandberg group. Let me know how it's playing out for you. I appreciate that it's tricky. I'd love to hear your details, the details in your scenario. So very best of luck with this, and until we meet again, thank you so much for watching, as always, and take very good care of yourself. Okay, coin group, here we are with your cards, the deck, and your charm. So for your layout, to answer the question, what do they want from you? I want to do a large diamond. I've done these a little bit before. I'm gonna put a link here in case you're interested in learning more about the large diamond. I actually have a free resource for it. And so let's go ahead and just deal out your cards and discover what they want. Okay, coin group, I have to say that these are some really interesting cards. I think the relationship element comes through strongly. We have the dog, we have the man and woman, and we have the whip, which is a challenging card, but it is really the only one that is challenging. There's also the fox in the middle. It can take on a number of different challenges. I feel that this is someone who doesn't really want to admit something. I feel they could be holding back. They want to tell you that they care, but I don't think they know how to. And also, it's possible that they're doubting something, but I really think this is going to come through the details. So before we get into these details, let's first get a sense of the corner cards. We have the Rider and Heart, which is a really good combination. This is someone who is interested in you. The rider can be a knight in shining armor kind of character. It is also really good with news. It tends to be someone who is active, who is positive, with a lot of momentum and energy. And the heart is, in and of itself, a card of feelings and joy and, interest as well, like in a romantic sense. So when we see these two together, this is someone who is interested. They care, they want to get to know you if they don't already know you, or they want to keep on going or want to get closer. So these two corner cards are lovely. The woman and flowers is also a really nice combination. You could be the woman or the man. They could be the woman or the man or the other party, whichever way it goes. And the flowers is an all-around optimistic card. It has to do with joy and positivity and renewal. And so I think that this is someone who is really interested in a relationship. I think they come from a good place. What is challenging somewhat is the fox. The fox can be a half-hearted person in relationships. It can also be someone who is self-interested and not particularly honest. But in view of the other positive cards, I think what's possible here is that the fox is telling us that this person is not really revealing how they feel about you, and they're hesitating about how much they should show or express interest in you. Now, in general, I think this can be about love and romance, especially when we get the man and woman together, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, the dog is about friendships, and so it is possible that though this person cares about you, they may not want to pursue a romantic relationship. That is also a scenario that could play out. So I suggest we get now into the details and build this large diamond from the ground up. So I suggest we get into the details and build this diamond from the ground up. We start with the central row. We have the rider, anchor, the fox, dog, and heart. Now, here's what's interesting. The dog and heart, in my dictionary at least, is a very specific combination that suggests friendship, not romance. So the rider and anchor wants to pursue a relationship, but with the fox here, there's that hesitation. The dog and heart suggests a friendship. So I feel this is someone who wants to stick around, who cares about you, they like you, but they're not really interested in a romantic sense. I think they could be concerned about disappointing you. We have the woman, whip, fox, bird, and flowers. So these three here in the center, they could be challenging because they can suggest a confrontation maybe, or something that is not, a conversation that is not really easygoing. It can be also some kind of revelation because of the bird and whip. And with the woman and flowers here, I think this could be a reference to you or them. Again, there is that sense that there is a well-intentioned motive here, but they're also a bit concerned that they might disappoint you. So actually, this is not the only reading where I'm getting this sign. This can be a dynamic at play right now. So from these two big lines, I feel that even though this person is well-intentioned, they may not want to take the relationship in the place that maybe you're thinking. They want to tell you that. They're not sure how to tell you that. I think they're holding off for a bit. And they also don't want to come across as too disappointing or maybe aggressive, and that's not what they mean. But I think maybe things are going to have to come out onto the surface, but I still think that they can be resolved positively for the friendship, especially if you're open to that. Now, looking at the diagonals, we have the man, the fox, and letter. And then we have the book, fox, and key. So the fox and book and the fox and letter are similar. They point to news or information. But the thing about the fox in here is that it is not revealed. And this has to do with the man here, so the other person, whether it's you or the other person. So they want to tell you something, they want to communicate something, but they're not so sure how best to do it. I think, though, the key is going to come through positively and help this person communicate effectively and express this intention for a friendship. We also have the frame of the portrait in here. We have the man, anchor, and book, and we have the key, dog, and letter. So again, I feel this person has been holding off. just making sure of how they feel. I think they're a careful person. I think they're smart. And then with the key, dog, and letter, there's going to be some positive news, certainly for the friendship. And this is where I see a strong resolution. I also see, the heart on the right-hand side of the line, and we saw the corner cards are also positive. So it's really just this transition into the communication, or, making it known how this person feels about you, what their intentions are, and wanting to maintain a friendship without hurting you, without disappointing you. So be open to that. And also, if it is about bringing differences out into the open, I think that too can be helpful and actually constructive for the relationship. So maybe this isn't about a revelation of love or a revelation of friendship, but it is about bringing some differences out into the surface so that they can be resolved. And this is actually really helpful. If you're open to that, I would say allow it, because it can actually contribute to the relationship, whether it's a love relationship, a friendship, a colleague, or someone else. Okay, so have this conversation, let it come out, and you'll see that you'll be on the same page again. So again, we're seeing a careful person who's being calculating about how they're going to bring up this topic with you. And we can read the top row. We have the man, whip, key. Again, this contributes to what we're saying. I think this is someone who wants to bring up the situation without causing problems, wanting to focus on the solution, not really dwelling on the problem. This isn't about negativity. This is about solving an issue. And then the book bird letter is a combination of news and discussion and revelation. So the cards, we have all three communication cards, although the book can be closed, but it is about information and knowledge. So I think it's really important to be willing to listen and to be open to them. Maybe they're getting a sense that you're not open to hearing this, so I want to suggest, Coin Group, that you sort of loosen up about this, make them feel that you're open to the conversation, and be there to really hear them out. And I think you will find that you will come onto the same page, you'll resolve the differences, you'll figure out a solution, and you'll be glad that she brought it up, and that you had a conversation, because it helps resolve things. So very much a combination of communication. I think communication is really central to what's ahead. This is someone who wants to communicate. They want to reach out. They're just not sure how best to. So I suggest help them. Maybe not directly, but energetically, if you know what I mean. Just being open invites the conversation. So despite the challenge that is captured in the central column, I think this is really just a speed bump, a bottleneck, a transition into more openness, more transparency, more awareness of the friendship and the relationship, and about the other person's feelings. So again, this idea of two-way communication that is lovely, I think. So be open to bringing this thing out into the open, maybe having a bit of an argument about it, that's fine. But I think you do get on the other side of this. And you see here we have the positive sort of resolution, the undoing here. And the bottom one is also great, where there's communication and collaboration. So I really feel the communication part is very important. I just feel that there could be a holding back a little bit right now, and they want to reach out to you. They want to have the conversation. Okay, so this is a very clear message from the cards. Let's wrap up with the sides of the diamond. We have, I want to read the top one because we have the man and woman together, so I feel it's how it should be read. The rider, man, woman, key, heart. This is a very beautiful set of cards. There's very positive movement in the relationship, and the bottom one is also lovely. We have the rider, book, flowers, letters, and heart. So again, very positive communication. It is really just this middle thing going on. So I really think that this person, what do they want from you? They want to communicate with you. They don't want to upset you. They want to talk about things honestly. They want to bring things out onto the surface. But they don't want to challenge the relationship. They don't want to, rock the boat. They just want honesty. And, they want to feel like you're open to that, open to this communication. And then once that's out, you're going to find that the relationship moves forward and that there's a supportive friendship and, things work out. So I really feel it's just a transitionary step. It's a bit of a speed bump in the communication and you quickly get over it. And in fact, what's interesting is that this speed bump can actually help nurture the relationship further through transparency and more awareness and more understanding through this issue. Now, I've read the cards generally, and they can apply to different kinds of relationships. This is great for work. In fact, the fox can represent the job itself. And if that's the case, then there could be some good news that comes maybe after a bit of a concern or a bit of a challenge. When it comes to personal relationships, things can be a bit trickier. Maybe here, if there was an expectation. When it comes to personal relationships, the cards can be a bit trickier because if there was an expectation for a romance or a love, then maybe this is going to have to be adjusted. But the good news from this is that it's probably going to turn out for the best and you can move forward in a really positive friendship and relationship in here. And in the context of any other relationship, the cards are lovely. You want to be open to bring this out onto the surface. This is what they want. They want to express and communicate, and they want to have an honest conversation. Honestly, like overall, if I'm going to take out like a one-liner out of this lovely spread, I would suggest, Coin Group, that honesty is the best policy. I'm not saying be pushy or, just go up to them and tell them, what do you want to tell me? No, that's not what I'm suggesting. But I'm suggesting really be open to to be approachable, to make them feel that they can have this conversation with you, and you'll find that it's in your best interest and it's going to work out really well. So let me know how you like these ideas, Coin Group. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts and your feedback. Very best of luck with this. Be willing to listen, be there, let me know how it goes. And until we meet again, thank you so much for watching and take very good care of yourself.